Hello everyone, Mocha Bear here. Welcome back to Mocha Bear's Hobby Den. Today's episode is going to be an introduction to D&D, or Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. You ready to get started? Today, I'm just going to be going over some of the basics on what's needed to get started. I have a few questions already brought up, and I'm going to address them. Question number 1. What is D&D? It is a TTRPG, or tabletop role-playing game, where you and your friends get together, whether it be in person or virtually online, and delve into a world of swords, magic, monsters, and adventure. These worlds can be pre-written stories called modules, or from the imagination of a DM/GM, which is Dungeon Master or Game Master, and those are referred to as homebrew. Question number 2 was submitted by someone on my Instagram, DJ Horizon. Isn't that game really complicated? It can be complicated, but it's really not. It's very easy to get into. In fact, I have been helping people get into it over the past few years, as I have been a Dungeon Master or Game Master since 2018. What do I need to get into D&D? All you need are a couple pencils, scrap paper, a character sheet which you can get for free online as a PDF that you can print at home, at least 7 dice that look like this, which I will go into detail later on. However, you do not need to get physical dice. You can get some free digitally, either through your phone as an app or on your computer. Access to a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition player's handbook, which you can get in a store, you can order online, or you can get the free PDF online. I just don't recommend printing it because that's a lot of paper. And lastly, and most importantly, your imagination. Number 4, is D&D expensive? Yes and no. If you're a first-time player, all the things you need I previously mentioned and are free. Most people have paper, pencil, and access to the internet. Most. If you wish to go with the physical stuff, it can get a bit pricey. To start off with, the dice. To play Dungeons & Dragons, you need a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, a D20, and a percentile dice, or D100. You can get these from most game and hobby stores. You can get them from most bookstores like Books A Million. You can also order them online from various vendors such as Amazon, Etsy, eBay. And for the cheapest set of dice you can get, I believe it's $4.99, $4.99 American for a set of 7 dice. And they can go very high in price, because there's very different designs. Some are made of plastic, some are made of metal. Some have things in them. So it all depends on what kinds you want. Now, if you wish to have a physical copy of the player's handbook, you can get those from the same places that you can get your dice from. Your local gaming store. For me, that is Third Eye, but you can also get them online from Amazon, eBay, places like that. Now, if you are someone who wants the book physically, but still want to try to save money, I do recommend going to Amazon, because their books are always on sale. If you were to go to a store, which I do highly recommend supporting your local gaming stores. I love and support Third Eye Games in my area. However, the physical book in stores is $49.95 American. On Amazon, I just checked, it is still $23.85 American. And of course, they typically have free shipping on items that are $25 or more, so if you're going to go that route, get a set of dice at $4.99 so you get the free shipping. Another way that the hobby can become expensive is minis. I have spent quite a lot of money on miniatures myself, and the books, and the dice. Miniatures are used to represent your characters and your monsters and things like that in the game that you can actually put on your tabletop to represent where your characters are for combat and all that kind of stuff. There are free alternatives to that. I should say free alternatives, because in order to benefit from the free portion of it, you need to get a 3D printer or know somebody who has a 3D printer, and you buy the spool of filament to provide, and they can print for you, because there are websites that offer free miniatures, and I have been printing a lot of miniatures. The website and specific creator that I go to is here. This creator has been making these miniatures for years for free for people to have access to and print at home. There are also websites where you can go to have custom miniatures printed. For these minis, I used this website. And no, again, I am not being sponsored. The longer you continue into the hobby, most likely the more money you will spend, especially if you become a DM/GM. Question 5. How do I join a game? It's very easy to find a game. It all depends on how you wish to play. You can play physically at a table with a group of people, or you can play virtually online on the computer with people around the world. If you wish to play locally, you have a few options. First, if you have a group of friends, ask them if they're interested in trying Dungeons and Dragons. And due to a very popular show that's been growing over the few years, Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons has been becoming more popular. A lot more people have been wanting to join just to try it out, see what it's like. Most likely, someone in your friend group is interested and will want to play. Secondly, find out if you have a local game store nearby. For example, for me, I have, again, Third Eye. The big Third Eye used to have a section in the back where people could sit down and play together for Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, etc., etc. If you have a local game store, go and ask, hey, do people come here to play Dungeons and Dragons, or do you know of any groups looking for people to join? Worst case scenario, they say no, there aren't, but maybe they know of a group that is nearby that is wanting to join. Maybe they themselves are wanting to start a group, or have a group that's looking for a new member. If you wish to play virtually, then all you have to do is just go to your internet browser and search up virtual Dungeons and Dragons games. There are a multitude of Discord servers dedicated to Dungeons and Dragons for getting games started, finding groups. But you also have other websites dedicated to virtual tabletop role-playing games, such as Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, Foundry, and Battlegrounds. That's just to name a few. Number 6. How do I know if D&D is for me? Watch. You can go to a local game store if people are playing and ask them if it's okay for you to sit and watch to see how the game plays, see if it's something that you're interested in. But if you do that, try going to different groups and watching them for a bit, like about 10 minutes per group, because each group will be playing differently. Each group has its own personalities. If you don't wish to do that and you want to do it from the comfort of your home, YouTube. YouTube is a great location for you to sit and just watch various different groups of people play Dungeons and Dragons. In fact, some channels or content creators that I highly recommend you use to check it out: Joe Cat, Belka and his Necro Hunt, Dingo Doodle's Holiday One-Offs, The Black Dice Society, and Critical Role. Just a warning, these games can be long. A session can take anywhere from 1.5 hours to 4.5 hours. Benefit of also watching online gives you the chance to just pause, get up, walk around, get food or a drink, use the bathroom, and come back and hit play to continue where you just stopped at. Number 7. What if D&D is not for me? Then it's not for you. Not everyone enjoys the hobby. That's perfectly fine. Maybe you just don't like the group or the DM that you're with. Maybe you just aren't feeling it and just need to take a break. That's perfectly fine. Lastly, number 8. What if I like the game, but the other members of the group or the DM are toxic? If you are in that situation, leave. Do not stay, do not continue to play with them. There is a very infamous quote: bad D&D is better than no D&D. False. No D&D is better than bad D&D. There are countless groups out there, online, local groups, but easier access to the online groups. If you're in a group, it's toxic, you want to leave but you don't want to stop because you fell in love with your character, go find another group, tell the DM, hey, I just left a very toxic group and I fell in love with this character. Am I able to bring this character over into your game? 9 out of 10, they're going to say, absolutely. Bring your character. Well, we welcome that. As a DM, I personally love when my players fall in love with their character because they invest their time into building their story. Worst case scenario, the DM says no. If that's the mood killer for you, then don't join. You do not have to settle. That's all for this episode. I hope this information was helpful to you. And if you have any other questions, if you wish for me to go into more detail on something, please comment down below or reach out to any of my social media right here. I will gladly respond. I will gladly answer. I love helping people get into the hobby. As I stated earlier, this is part of a series. So the next episode I'm going to do, I am probably going to do a how to create a character. I will show you a character sheet and I will fill it out step by step for you. Again, I hope this was beneficial to you, and please, hobby on.